What's going on, Lions fans? Welcome to the Pride Detroit YouTube channel. I'm Meko, joined by my guy Morgan here. And Morgan, the offseason is still continuing to roll on. I'm getting very, very itchy and ready for football season to get here. I need something like OTAs, minicamp, like anything at this point in time that actually gives me some sort of like football news that's tangible would be really beneficial right now. But I'm making it through. How about you?
Man, it's tough because I would love, I'm anxiously awaiting the schedule release date. Like, I know it's going to happen, and like, we know it's going to happen soonish, but like, I'd like a nice firm date, please, because that's always fun, right?
Yeah,
Um,
we're gonna probably have to do like an emergency like video. Like I feel
for
like
sure. Yeah.
I don't know. Jeremy and Eric should be able to give us like a heads up of something like, hey, just to like so we can prep. That
Please.
would be nice.
I hope so,
So
right?
so Jeremy, Eric, if you guys are watching this video, the minute you guys know that the schedule is being released, just message us on the side, just so that me and Morgan can be prepared, set some time aside, and actually do a YouTube video where we can actually break down the schedule.
Yeah, we'll see you in Slack, guys. Appreciate it.
Right.
But yeah, I want that to happen. Yeah, I'm chewing on. I want the receiver thing to drop too. Like, when is that happening? Netflix, y'all have been talking about that.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that.
That's going to be nice. We can do some videos about that for sure. Cause I'm probably going to watch that in like a day, maybe two.
Speaking of which, yeah, hold on. So to the people watching the video, comment below if you would actually like to see me and Morgan react to the wide receiver show on Netflix, because that's something we've never done on this YouTube channel before, and people love reaction videos. So maybe we could do a reaction to the wide receivers Netflix series. That would be actually kind of dope, since Amon-Ra St. Brown will be heavily featured, I'm expecting, in this show.
I think he's going to be one of the main, especially because the Lions were such a good team last year, and everyone loves Dan Campbell, blah blah blah. So yeah, I expect a whole lot of Amon Ra. It's Amon Ra, Kittle, it's a couple other. I
Do
can't
you
remember off
think
the
they're going to
top.
make him? Do you think they're going to make him recite the receivers drafted before him again?
I hope not, guys. Let's
I
just
same. I hope he's able to sit down with Netflix, but can we not
let's just
make
let
me
that
do this for
die.
the first
Yeah.
time? Like, go grab a clip of that. Like, I've done it
Yeah.
enough times. Just go grab a clip.
Yeah, HBO, YouTube, it's all over. But yeah, I would. That'd be cool. I would like, because that'll get at least through. Like, that'll get us through May at least. Maybe get some of that going. Get towards
Yeah,
the end of when OTAs hits and rookie mini camp. So we'll have some stuff to chew on here soon, right?
yeah, absolutely. But with that said, Morgan, we are here for a very specific reason, not just to talk about how much we miss football and how much we were hoping that other football things start happening. But if you guys saw the title of this video, Morgan and I are actually going to be taking a little bit of a look ahead to once the season kicks off. And listen, the Lions accomplished a lot last year. Winning the division, winning 2 playoff games, coming within a game of getting to the Super Bowl. But we all know getting back to that point is very difficult. It's not a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination. So with that said, Morgan, when you look at this roster and you start to look at the individual players on it, we obviously know it's a group effort, right? Everyone has to be rowing in the same direction for the Lions to get back to where they want to get to. But when you look at individuals, who was somebody that for you kind of stands out as someone that needs to see a healthy amount of improvement for the Lions to be able to do that next season?
So we talked about this before, and it got me thinking, because you come at this a bunch of different ways. But I'm going to go with the fun one. I think I'm going to go with Jameson Williams, man. I was super happy when the Lions traded up in 2022 for JMO. He was one of my favorite players. I'm not like a huge college football fan. I watch as much as anyone else, but I don't really follow like one specific team. I went to Eastern Michigan, so true EMU. Shout out Max Crosby and Charlie Batch and some other people. But yeah, I mean, that would be amazing, because it would turn the Lions' already elite offense into just like this juggernaut of a unit that probably couldn't really be stopped for so many different reasons. Like, if Jameson Williams is a legit, like, deep threat, like a 1B to Amon Ra's 1A and to Sam Laporta's 1C, you just have this 3-headed monster in the passing game that's going to be up against any other team's like best 3 pass catchers, because we know how fast JMO is. Really hoping that he can be healthy all the way through training camp and have a full off season and everything, because what we saw at Alabama that year, guys, was special. Like, I think people forget because it's been a little bit now, but he was making SEC guys look like they were running in mud and just erasing angles. Just ridiculous stuff on a every Saturday basis. So yeah, JMO would be my pick right now. I think you could go at this from a bunch of different ways, but it'd be just the most electric offense in football. But what do you think, Miko?
No, I like your pick of JMO because going back to what you were saying about him making SEC guys, look slow and being able to erase angles. We saw him even do that last year once he was able to get on the field and once they started getting the ball in his hands in some more creative ways. That speed is still really hard to defend. And when he gets into open space, he's as dangerous as anyone else in the NFL at being able to take something that probably could be like, again, probably a first down because they do a really good job of getting him like on these sweeps and end arounds and things like that. But like he's taking those and turning them into house calls. And obviously you're able to hit him over the top on some of these deep routes. Again, taking those 70, 60 yards down the field, like he's money in those situations. But then you look at like, I feel like for all of the wow moments he gave us, you look at his stat line and it's like you said, there's still a lot to be desired. There's still so much that JMO hasn't tapped into. Only 354 receiving yards on the season, only 24 receptions, but still two touchdowns, just under 15 yards per play or per reception. So like that big playability is definitely there. And I think you and I were also kind of talking about this a little bit earlier, but with the Lions not having really like added too much to that wide receiver room, like Jameis has a lot of opportunities to really get more targets this upcoming season now that Josh Reynolds isn't there. And obviously you still have Sam Laporta, you still have Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you have DPJ as well that's going to get a couple targets, but Jameis going to be able to benefit greatly from just a wide receiver room that, isn't as crowded as it maybe was a season ago.
Yeah, I 100%. I think he's going to get a bigger share of the targets, right? You're still, Amon-Ra St. Brown is your best receiver. Obviously, he's elite. He's top 5 or however you want to do it. I don't hate ranking. I just kind of do tiers. I'd rather do tiers. I like doing that discussion. That could be some off-season content. We'll file that one away. But yeah, I think JMO's in line for a lot more, like a bigger piece of the pie in 2024. That's just the nature of. I mean, he's in year 3 now, and it's going to be it's time to go. And I think he knows that. Yeah, so it's going to be cool to see him flourish, because if he can stay healthy, and I really think he could take off, because you can see it. We saw flashes towards the end of the season, and then he was also making tough catches like for first downs too. It wasn't all just like you said, Miko, like the big. He's not a big play merchant. He is, because he's the fastest, like might be the fastest guy in football, but he also did some of the tough stuff last year. Even I know it makes us sound like dinosaurs, but like some of the run blocking, man, being a speedster like JMO is, like a borderline, like world class, like track athlete if he wanted to be, and still having the the will to want to block like he does, then it's pretty special. So yeah, it's getting me excited. It's only May.
But I like I said, I can see why for you that would be your pick for like, hey, if he pops off next season, like this offense that is already very good could just reach another level, because like you said, he's doing it in the blocking game, he's doing it on the big plays, he's doing it on like some of the trick plays. But if he becomes just a staple and a fixture in this offense, where he really is your true wide receiver 2 opposite Amon-Ra St. Brown, again, like how do you defend this offense when they can attack you at so many different levels? But for me, when I look at like a player that I think, if this player hits, if they take their game to another level, that this team could really, again, not just reach where they were last year, but maybe even surpass it, I first and foremost have to start on the defensive side of the football, because I think that's where you have the most opportunity for growth. And I don't know if this is fair or not, Morgan, because I know the dude just got here, but I'm actually going to go with Carlton Davis III. I think if CD3 can really elevate his game, and again, not saying that he hasn't played like a CB1 in years prior, but again, you start to look at some of his PFF grades. It wasn't the greatest season for CD3, and if he's able to stay healthy and things of that nature, this defense is going to benefit greatly from a player of his caliber playing at a high level, really shutting down one side of the field and making opposing offenses really have to work for anything that they get in the passing game.
Yeah, and 100%, and it makes the Lions defense, like, it would be such an asset to Aaron Glenn, right? Because having that caliber of player on one side of the field, you can really get creative with what you're doing with the other 10 guys on defense, right? So that would unlock a bunch. I'm sure Aaron Glenn would be thrilled. And it would, lead to a pretty interesting discussion if he did enter that tier of player, like for Brad Holmes and the Lions brass, because right now it looks like he's, here for a year. You just took, 2 corners really early in the draft, but you don't let players like that walk out of, you don't let players like that off your roster if you can help it. So yeah, that would be huge, Meko. I would love that.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this when the Lions signed Carlton Davis and when we broke down his film and everything like that. I do believe that he is an improvement over Cam Sutton, who was here last season. I do think he is a better caliber of player. Like I said, you start to look at just, again, his PFF grades, which are very middle of the pack. You start to look at some of his stats. He allowed a 107.4 passer rating, which is not very good. 15.2 yards per reception, again, also not very good. Gave up 51 receptions. So there is room for Carlton Davis to grow. And like we talked about it when we broke down his film, he has that respect across the league. A lot of receivers look at CD3 as a high caliber corner, a guy that's really going to challenge you. So if he can go out there and do his job and the rest of the defense do theirs, I think it's just going to help elevate this entire team as a whole, because as of right now, I'm not concerned about the offense. I think getting JMO to reach another level would be huge, but I think getting this defense to take another step, and specifically getting some high quality corner play from the likes of CD3 and what could be whether Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rakestraw, Amik Robertson, whoever it is that ends up being CB2, if those two players can elevate their play, I think this team reaches new heights.
I agree, and it's a more logical argument than my Jameson pick, and I do like
that.
this.
I don't actually say that. I think because this is the thing, right? With your JMO pick, if I could again go back to the JMO thing, JMO's in line to be wide receiver too. You can't. We can't just assume that every ball is going to go to Amon-Ra. A lot of them are, right? He's going to get 10 plus targets a game, more than likely. But you still have to feed Laporta. You can't have 20 receptions just between Sam and St. Brown, right?
Yeah, not every week, right? Yeah.
Right. And Goff is only throwing it, roughly 30 times? So if we know that St. Brown's going to take up a third of that, he's at least getting 10. That means the other 20 have to get split up between Sam, JMO, Jameer, DPJ, and so I think it does elevate JMO to a point where they're probably going to be hey, we're going to give you more opportunities, more targets. Again, it may not be on the same level as St. Brown, but at least I would expect JMO to go from getting around 3 targets a game to now getting 6 or 7. I think that's a reasonable expectation when, again, there's not that many high quality wide receivers on this team right now.
That's all great points for sure. And yeah, I do like your idea though with CD3 becoming like an upper echelon cornerback, because it would just make life so much easier for if it is Terrion starting opposite him, right? Because then you can roll safety, you can roll Kirby towards Terrion and his assignment. You can bracket guys on that side of the field and maybe leave Carlton on an island. Not all the time, but he's that caliber of player. We watched the film. Some of those counting stats are tough to tough to nail down when it comes to secondary play, just because some of these, especially with PFF's a useful tool at times, but you guys have all heard this before. I don't need to drone on about that, but yeah, I think that would it'd make the Lions, if they're not already a legitimate Super Bowl contender, which in my opinion they are, it would make them a very, very legit Super Bowl contender, because that defense would be real.
Yeah. No, so I mean, like you said earlier, there were a number of players that you and I discussed. Kirby was somebody that we discussed because I think Kirby is another person that could probably see his game elevate to another level, and this defense would benefit greatly from it. Pascal, right, is somebody else. Marcus Davenport could probably be filed in the same category as Carlton Davis III, where it's like, hey, if he's healthy and he's performing, maybe that helps elevate this defense to another level. But those are a couple players that we could probably argue in this video, but let's hear from the guys and the people that are watching this video. Let us know in the comment section below, like, if it were up to you, or if you could name a player that you think, like, hey, if this player elevates their game, the Lions are going to benefit greatly. Who would that player be for you, whether it's on the offensive side or on the defensive side? Let us know in the comment section below. Also, if you're looking for any more content related to the Detroit Lions, you can always go check out prideofdetroit.com. We're always uploading brand new articles over there. And last but not least, be sure to stay tuned to the POD YouTube channel. Again, Morgan and I are usually uploading between 2 to 3 videos a week, so you definitely want to stay subscribed. You definitely want to have your notifications on. That way you can be notified when new videos are uploaded over here on the channel. But with all that said, I'm Meko. He's Morgan. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.